everybody, it's Naomi Pabst here, and I'm not going to introduce myself now at the beginning because I'm going to be telling you a lot about my journey, who I am and what I do throughout this video. It's an honor to have you here because I'm going to be speaking about purpose, our life purpose, our soul purpose, our true purpose. We all have this built-in entelechy within us. An entelechy is this part of us within us that unfurls. It's plugged into our soul, our hearts. It's embedded in our cell memory. And basically when we come into this planet at birth, we start being indoctrinated into families, into schools, into religions or lack of religions, or ways of eating, or ways of doing, ways of thinking. And it causes us to start disconnecting and cutting off from what our purpose is in this world. Now, I feel that part of the solution to the problems in the world is to plug people back into their purpose. And I feel that your life can be vastly improved by plugging in to your purpose. This will apply to you regardless of whether you found your purpose, you're certain of your purpose, you're immersed in living your purpose, or if you're searching. A lot of people are searching, attempting to find their purpose. And there's a lot of talk about the importance of plugging into your purpose. And so today we're going to speak a little bit more about what that is. What does it mean to find one's purpose and live with it? And then if you have a purpose, to live it to the fullest, to live it courageously, and also to remember that a purpose is evolving and shifting and morphing. My own purpose has certainly shifted, and it's shifting as we speak. So I'm in a good position to speak of what I'm living right now, because I'm living an evolution and a shift from one purpose to a new iteration of it, a new incarnation of my purpose. So that also brings up the issue of the layers to our purpose, the big purpose, the small purpose. Now, a purpose, in the way I see it, is more a calling. It's like, what are we called to do? What are we meant to do? Some have been arguing of late that purpose is more an essence of who you are, or a way of being. Now, the way that I see purpose, it's definitely a doing. It's something you contribute. It's something you offer. It's a service. It's your service to the world. Now, it's critical to remember that when you're offering your service, that who you are counts for so much more than what you're doing. Okay, so there's a being component to the doing. But to me, a purpose is, what are you meant to be doing, and who are you meant to be being, and really aligning those two things together, okay? So it's not just about what you should be doing, but nor is it just who you should be being in the way of some people feel, oh, it's my purpose to emanate love, or it's my purpose to emanate inspiration, or to be the light. Those ways of being are critical in the doing of your purpose. So purpose is tangible. Purpose is really a call to action that emanates from within yourself. It's critical also to remember that a purpose is not in our minds. Now, I'm going to lay out 12 steps here. I'm going to break these things down. But for now, I just want to say a purpose is not in our minds. You can't find your purpose through thinking. And even if you've found your purpose, you can't figure out the to-do list and get the instructions in your mind. Too many of us immediately go to the treasure chest of our brain, or I love our brains. I love thinking, and I love what's found there. I love the mind, the life of the mind. But the purpose doesn't reside in the mind. So you must be aware as you're searching for or deepening your relationship to your purpose that you're not going to find the answers you're seeking in your mind. Okay? So it's a matter of getting into alignment with who you are on the level of mind, body, heart, and soul, and then allowing the inclination to issue forth. Purpose is ultimately an inclination that issues forth from the soul. It issues forth from your being. It's a call to action from within. It's not a should. It doesn't feel like a should. And it's, again, not something you can think up. So when you're called into your purpose, when you discover it, when you find it, when you connect to it and plug into it, you find yourself going into action automatically. You find yourself inclined. It's a matter of volition. You find yourself in the doing of it. You find yourself offering, you find yourself serving, you find yourself doing this thing, okay? So it's about being in mind, body, heart, soul alignment, which then yields a sort of automatic blossoming of self into a particular way of being and doing that's one, okay? The being and the doing become one. So let me tell you a little bit about my own purpose. It's been kind of a fascinating adventure. I went the academic route, and I thought truly that was my purpose and my calling. I was very passionate about studying and researching, and I was very passionate about issues of race, racism, human difference, diversity, culture, basically how we can get along better. To put it simply, I wrote my dissertation about just, the great diversity within the category of Blackness, and also how human beings can negotiate one another's differences more effectively, more elegantly, more lovingly, frankly. Now, when I finished my dissertation, when I finished grad school, I went on to a postdoc at Harvard that included teaching and research. So I taught at Harvard for 2 years, and I taught Black Studies there. And then I went on to teach at Yale from there as a professor for 10 years, full time. And when I was on that journey early on, back at Harvard, even though I was on that whole academic trajectory for a full 12 years, post-graduating from my PhD, I awakened to a new way of being. My entelechy, right, the seed within me, the acorn that turns into an oak tree, actually steered me in a brand new direction, which I was not expecting at all. I wound up having, to make a long story short, a spiritual awakening that really opened up my intuitive faculties, and then not only now were my intuitive faculties awake, but I had a powerful call to put them to use to help people. I felt this strong volition, this inclination to not just have this intuition, but to really serve people with it. I felt my intuition could really help people, right? The hits I was able to get, the problems I was able to solve, the insights I was able to offer, the guidance I was able to share, compelled me to do, right? Praxis is the meeting of theory and practice, and the theoretical underpinnings of the metaphysical, of the spiritual, of the magical, compelled me into doing. Okay, so again, the calling, the purpose is linked up to a doing, a volition, a calling forth of what's within you, a bringing forth of what's within you. So I stayed at again Yale for 10 years, while knowing that after 2 years there I would be leaving to work as an intuitive. I've wound up over the years serving thousands of clients, and left Yale, put in a 2-year notice at Yale to pursue my intuitive work full time. After I left Yale, I started transformational teaching. I started doing workshops and master classes and lectures so that I could share what was meaningful from all the readings I'd be doing, to kind of do a best of and gather people in a room and share the best insights that would apply to everybody. There was a lot of insight and guidance coming through for people that was the same. So I sort of curated that and turned it into a curriculum, and started offering transformational teachings on all sorts of topics, from extreme well-being, radical self-care, to dialing up your intuition, to really how to know who you are, how to love and accept yourself, how to step into your power, how to heal yourself, those kinds of issues. So that became my calling, and that shifted and morphed. And when I left academia and put in my 2-year notice to become a transformational teacher and an intuitive, I thought that was my calling, right? I thought, okay, I left one for the other. Now, 4 years later, left academia 4 years ago, I'm being strongly called back, and this call started a year ago, and didn't come from my brain, that's for sure. I thought I was set. I thought I was living my new life, and then I started getting called to refocus on race, refocus on my racial expertise and my passion for helping and healing and reorienting us around race and racism. So that's the new calling I'm in. And so I'm undergoing this new finding and this new discovering and this new fulfilling of a new purpose as I speak about this, even though I've now for a long time been on this journey of living my purpose. So I'm back to the drawing board, I'm back to square one, I'm back into the suspense and the unknown of my purpose. So I know what I'm being called to do. I don't have an instruction guide or a to-do list, and I'm having to plug into heart and soul, and I'm having to trust in the process and have faith and allow again the unlearning of what I thought I knew and what I thought I had established, what I thought I had created, what I thought was fixed and entrenched, that turns out to be fluid and loose and malleable. The unlearning, and again the unfurling, because the unfurling process apparently just keeps continuing and continuing. We keep unfurling into more and more of who we are, and the calling keeps issuing forth. And I believe, especially if you heed it, whatever your calling might be, you might find it something small. Even if it's something small, roll with it, because who knows what it will turn into, you know? It wasn't small to discover I was going to shift from an academic at Harvard and Yale to a psychic, but I really didn't know that I would then be coming back more into sort of thought leader, idea share, transformation strategist, back more on the ground, still using my intuition, but much more using my knowledge, my expertise, and my wisdom and my intuition all together. I didn't anticipate that. Now, of course, in hindsight, as you might see as clearly as I do now, you can sort of see a larger arc of things, and that it all goes together, and that it all added up to this moment, right? It was an evolution, a blossoming and an unfurling into this moment. And the psychic, the 12 years as a psychic, 12, 13, 14 years, 12 years as a professional psychic serving clients professionally, 8 of those dovetailing with my work as an academic, was a fulfilling of purpose. And then now I have to unlearn some of those, unlearn the entrenchments in that sense of myself as I go back to the drawing board and shift. So now it's a coming together of it all, and it's all issued forth from within me. So now, with that stated, I just want to say that when I left Yale to become an intuitive, having been there for a long time, knowing I would be leaving because I started to feel that wasn't what I was meant to be doing. I wasn't feeling aligned with it, and I never minded the work. I was pretty good at it, and I enjoyed it, and I liked it, and I liked teaching, and I loved my students. But I feel I was more serving them in the capacity of kind of a life coach and an inspirer, using literary texts to inspire my students. I loved that aspect of it, but it was not my calling. I could feel that it wasn't fueling and fulfilling me. My heart and soul weren't in it, and by the end, and it was at the beginning, it just shifted. It shifted. My interest waned. My investment waned. So you want to allow that. You want to not apologize for that. You want to plug into the truth that's within you. You want to be really honest with yourself about what you're feeling, what you're knowing, what you're intuiting for yourself. So with that stated, I took a status demotion, right? In the socio-cultural landscape, we all know there's more cultural capital in being a Yale professor than in being a psychic, right? A tarot reader. However, in my own personal currency and my measure of success, it was infinitely preferable to be that thing that had less cultural capital and less social status. Infinitely preferable. Because I was plugged into my socket, I was fulfilling my purpose, I was infinitely inspired, I was on a grand adventure, it was exciting, I loved it, and I cared so much about what I was doing, my heart and soul was in it. And so what does all that yield? It yields incredible quality of life, okay? So it's all kind of wacky and bizarre, it's a very strange thing to undergo, a very strange transformation, but your well-being is your greatest currency, and this is why plugging into your purpose will change your life, and plugging into your purpose would change the world if enough of us did it. If enough of us lived the life we're meant to be living, the life that's possible for us, the more creative life, the more unexpected life, the more unpredictable life, our quality of life would improve dramatically, and well-being, again, is our greatest currency. It's the greatest currency we have as human beings. Our well-being counts for everything. Our well-being, mind, body, heart, and soul, our health, our wellness, on all those different levels. So it all starts with tip number 1. Love. Love, love, love. Love is the highest. Love is the God force. God is love. Love is God. It's the strongest force in the universe. And to plug into your purpose, you must love. You must love what you do. And you must do what you love. So when I was sitting around as a Harvard postdoc, dabbling with tarot cards and reading about metaphysical matters, I was doing what I loved. And boy, was there a voice of doubt and a voice of reason arguing with me passionately. You should be reading your literary criticism. You should be studying. You should be researching what you came here to research. You should be evolving your academic career. But no, I wound up just sort of on an obsessive deep dive into the metaphysical. I couldn't stop myself, and I didn't stop myself despite that voice. Now, had I listened to that voice telling me I should be reading literary criticism rather than reading tarot cards, my life would have gone in a very different direction. Now, this is where you have to trust, because in all those years, there was a 3-year period, about 2 or 3 years where I had no idea this was leading up to anything. I just thought I was being the flakiest academic that ever lived. I thought I was being the most fickle, unprofessional, I thought I had a secret life, this kind of sneaky habit. I was always on tarot cards, and I was always studying and scrying and doing pendulum, and I was always trying to palm readings. I was always sort of sneaking this obsessive side project. And I loved it, but I felt incredibly guilty and ashamed and embarrassed about it. But it all yielded a brand new career, like who knew? So point is, you gotta be willing to do what you love, even if it's something strange or unexpected or socially, questioned, socially suspect. You have to do what's in your heart to do. Now, it may not be something as crazy as tarot readings when you're on a Harvard postdoc, but it might just be going for a hike, just doing what you love. Do you love playing the piano? Do you have a passion in the world? Do you love animals? Do something to help animals. Or do you love food, right? Food, like nourishment, health issues. Do you have a hobby that you love? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to run a marathon? Whatever it is that's within you, do it. Spend your time on doing what you love, okay? So it's do what you love, but it's just as much love what you do. Do what you love and love what you do, because we have to bring the energy of love to what we do. So whatever we're doing, bring an energy of love to it. If you find that you can't, that's nowhere in the vicinity of your calling. If you cannot bring yourself to love what you're doing, then you know that you want to dramatically be shifting what it is you're spending your time on. Life is short. It's really important how we spend our time. It's all we've got. Our time and our well-being are the most valuable things that we have, in addition, of course, to the people in our lives, which our relationships with people are paramount. So use your time wisely and do what you love and love what you do. So it's all about bringing the energy of love and allowing for love, okay? Now, the next one is not just loving what you do and doing what you love, but loving yourself. So that's a very simple instruction. So tip number 2, love yourself. Love yourself enough to discover who you are, to offer yourself whatever it is you're needing. Beam on yourself. Infuse yourself with energy. Let yourself know how much you matter. It matters how you're doing, what you're doing, how you're spending your time and energy. Love yourself. It's critical, okay? Loving yourself is critical for the allowing of the process of the unfurling into living your purpose. You must love yourself enough for it to issue forth. You have to know that there's something in there, and you have to allow for it to unfold, to bloom, and you do that by the energy of love, which again is the highest. Love is transformational. Love is bolstering. Love is the most powerful force. It will shift you and galvanize you and catapult you, and it will catalyze you. So allow the energy of love towards yourself. Okay, it's critical. And self-love is not selfishness. It's not this sort of wacko immodesty. It's critical that you beam upon yourself and that you understand that you are love. You're a being of love. You're a being of light. Honor that. Along with the love of self comes truly accepting who you are. To discover your purpose, you have to accept who you are. You have to plug into your authenticity. Who are you really? Because back to what I said earlier in the way of like the ways that we get indoctrinated by culture, by society, by our national origins, our genders, our schools, our churches, all the many institutions that we encounter, the people in our lives, the groups, I call them the foils and the backdrops for our personal evolution. Whatever those are telling us, it's our job to discover who we are in the face of that. Now, the journey of self-discovery attends or corresponds to a journey of self-creation. We discover and we create ourselves at the same time in tandem. But it's all against this backdrop. So don't lament the backdrop. Honor the backdrop. The backdrop is there for you to develop yourself again. So develop yourself against. It doesn't matter who said and what they taught you, and it's just, now it's time to unlearn it. Unfurling and unlearning. Just unlearn it. Start the gradual, loving process of letting go of this and that and the other, right? It's like Michelangelo said when he made the statue of David, he really just removed the extraneous parts of the marble, right? He chipped away at the marble that was not meant to be there. That's the same exact way that we discover our purpose and we discover who we really are. To discover your purpose, though, you have to be willing to gamble, to play the game differently, to gamble to kind of switch the paradigm, being authentic and letting the chips fall where they may, rather than contorting self to control an outcome. We're kind of taught to do that from the youngest age, to contort just a little bit, to contort who we are, to contort our authenticity for the sake of being more pleasing and acceptable. Now, we don't even realize we're doing this, right? The pleasers among us, there are those who we can all identify as pleasers quite readily. We can see it in them, but they're just a more extreme version of the rest of us, So if you're not a pleaser per se, like I'm certainly not, when I went off to academia, I felt very much I was in line with my purpose. But now in hindsight, I can see that that was sort of a socially acceptable way for me to express my knowings, my sort of particular, just my particular knowings. I found sort of academia was a socially acceptable way in my world to allow for the the fact I was a thinker and I was big-brained and a reader and curious and questioning. Like it was a fit, but it didn't occur to me to do something more creative. It didn't occur to me. It wasn't among my sense of possibility. So think about in your life, how are you limiting yourself without even realizing it? And how are you pandering just a tiny bit? So, authenticity. You want to play the game to be authentic and let the chips fall where they may. Now, sometimes we're usually either in denial about this or we're in fear about it. We're either in denial that we're doing this. We're not, they are, right? We can see how other people are doing it. We're not, we're being ourselves. Even though, no, we're not living freely and we're not living nearly as creatively as is possible for us. At the same time, if we're not in denial, then we're in fear. And the fear is that we do not want to let the chips fall where they may. We say certain things to certain people. We don't express ourselves authentically with our family. We conceal things, or we fret if we rock the boat in a relationship. Oh, I said this and my sister got upset, so now I'm not going to say that anymore. Rather than let the chips fall where they may, and not be afraid, not be in fear, even subtlety, even a subtle fear of authentic expression. So we want to be a little bit more open to the consequences, right? We want to have more sort of resilience in the face of rocking the boat a little bit in our social world, there will be those people who were meant to lose. There will be those people who your authenticity will literally be like waving a wand and they disappear. And it might even be some family members and some friends. You might lose some people, but above all, mostly you'll be shocked at how it evolves your relationships. You'll be shocked at how being your true self will deepen the quality relationships that you have. The people who are meant to be in your life. The people who are truly not meant to be in your life will disappear in the face of you being authentic. And you want to just be okay with that. You want to see that as just a natural evolution of life. Sacred contracts between people expire, right? Not every relationship is supposed to last forever. And yes, it can be very painful when friendships rupture and end. And it's not like they're meant to end just because they went south. Sometimes we have to repair and do damage control in a relationship and troubleshoot. But sometimes relationships really are just meant to end and we need to let them go. So be open to your authenticity. You're showing up in your authentic truth. Be open to that creating some shifts in your life. But you'll be shocked at overall how things actually work better. The relationships you have become deeper and more intimate and more real and more tender and more vulnerable and more just connected. You feel more connected to people. You'll be surprised at how much better it is, how much preferable it is in terms of your quality of life to be being in your authenticity, okay? So in addition to being authentic in order to, you need to be authentic in order to live your purpose, okay? So if you can't really be authentic, you can't really discover your purpose. It requires your willingness to be authentic. Your purpose lies embedded beneath the willingness to be real, to be fully in your truth, fully plugged in to who you're meant to be, okay? So the next, which I always qualify stepping into your truth with a barter. You must, if you're going to step into your truth and your authenticity, make a barter to be in your greatness as well. Because we all know those people who step into their authenticity and then they just wreak havoc on everyone around them, right? Like, because sometimes our truth hurts. Our truth isn't always enlightened. Our truth isn't always true. It's just our truth. And then we subject other people to it. Oh, I think this and I think that and I feel this and I feel that and I just need to express it. So we don't want to go that direction with plugging into our authenticity. It's more something within ourselves where we're in integrity with what we say. Integrity does not equal brutal honesty and forthrightness and always issuing forth, always expressing, always communicating what that truth is. There's an art form to knowing what to say when. Using your intuition and your prowess, your social prowess, your communicative prowess, your magic, your personal magic to know what needs to be said and what doesn't, to really use judgment. And that's what I call stepping into your greatness. You want to have really good judgment about what it means to show up in your authenticity so you're not leaving a trail of shrapnel in your social relationships, which is then just going to jeopardize you living your purpose, right? Because anyone who lives their purpose has to have a masterful, magical ability to relate to people, because everybody's purpose relates to other people and depends on other people opening doors and supporting and bolstering and employees, people literally working for you, or whatever the case is, even those you're meant to serve, you will have to honor them. You will have to be living in a respect for them. So hence, be in your greatness, okay? Commit to being at your best. Now there's so many ways we can be at our best, mind, body, heart, and soul. Number one is magnetism. Your magnetism counts for so very much. You want to be as magnetic as possible. Magnetism is kind of like being at the higher scale of your emotional default setting, right? So again, you're not in judgment of other people. You're really coming at people from love. You really are love and light. Now that doesn't mean we have to be perfect, but it does mean we can quickly course correct if judgmental thoughts creep up or if negativity creeps up. Because if you want to serve, if you want to fulfill your calling, if you want to do things for people, for the world, even just the world around you, then you want to be doing it from a kind of a place of power and positivity and warmth and love and light and compassion and empathy and understanding. You really want to be honoring our fellow human beings. You can't be backbiting and catty and You can't be in your regular default setting, to serve. You really have to up-level yourself, okay? Now, we are all diamonds. We are diamonds, and this is again a part of the unlearning. We are diamonds by design. We are magnificent. In fact, so much more magnificent, shiny, radiant, powerful, divine than we even give ourselves credit for. And all we need is a little detox, right? It's like we pick up a lot of dirt and dust throughout our lives, a lot of negativity that we get infected with from the time of our birth on. And that's kind of what we need to wash away and allow the truth of who we are, the shining diamond, to issue forth. Okay, so magnetism and detoxing, and that's a healing journey, will do a lot to kind of get rid of that white noise that might cause us to inadvertently A, get in our own way, and B, hurt other people without even realize we're doing it. Okay, so you want to, again, have a barter when you step into your truth, to not just willy-nilly step into your truth. You have to really choose and commit to being at your best if you're going to be in your truth. The two have to go together. So next comes back to what I said, the issue of not finding your purpose in the brain. The purpose lives in the heart and soul. So we're kind of indoctrinated in our culture, whatever specific culture you belong to. Our Western American larger matrix indoctrinates us into being very cerebral and brain-based. We, as Einstein said, have made the intellect the master and the intuition the servant. Now, as Einstein himself said, the truth is that the intuition is the master and the intellect is the servant. So our job is to allow the intellect to serve our heart and soul whispers. What are those whispers telling us? What is the inner compass saying? What are we being guided to do? Then we use our brilliant mind, our brain, our thoughts to mold and develop and strategize, to work with, maybe to veto. If it's just too bizarre, we can veto it. We really want to be sure that our intuition is the master and our brain is the servant. We're valuing our brain, we're trusting in our brain, we're using our brain, we're loving our brain. I love my brain, I really, really love it. I love all that goes on in there, but it is absolutely in service to my heart and soul. It's critical that we have it that way because it creates a lot of anxiety and stress and strife when we let the brain be the master. Then we get notions about things, and they're limited beliefs. Limited beliefs are beliefs that take root in our brain, and they're, again, rooted in social indoctrination or just ideas and notions we have about things at random. They cause us to put blocks in our own path. And again, they cause us stress and strife and anxiety and curtail our well-being, and our well-being, again, is the highest currency. So to tap into your purpose, you must be heart and soul led. You must learn to connect with your heart and your soul being the infinite, vast, divinely connected part of you that's so powerful and that's eternal and that has like an abundance of quantum communication, a quantum current in the soul running through it like a river of intelligence, higher intelligence that's yours to tap into if you only unfurl and unlearn that which is required for you to tap into that. The heart, the seat of the emotion. You have to be willing to feel what feels right to you. Right? Like when I was at Yale, it felt boring. Intellectually, I didn't feel it should feel boring. I had spent 20 years, as an academic, a grad student, a postdoc, and then 10 years as a professor, honing those abilities, developing that career, right? It should feel good. It should be what I want, right? It's like a love relationship. When the person looks perfect on paper, but it doesn't feel right. That has to count. It has to count for you. How it feels to be doing what you're doing. Let your feelings count. Start tapping into your heart. Start tapping into your emotional literacy to feel what feels uplifting, what feels galvanizing, what feels positive, what feels joyous, what feels inspiring to you. And that will always be the right direction to be going in when it comes to fulfilling and finding your purpose. Okay? So, relatedly, be inner led. Okay, so quite tangibly, I've shared how we get out of our brains and into our heart and our soul, but our soul will actually offer us guidance. Okay, there's guidance, intuition, messages telling us what we should do. So you want to be willing to become inner led, be willing to be soul led, connect to the compass you have within you. You have an inner barometer. And you have that entelechy that I talked about, that divinely appointed seed within you that's only unique to you. Only you have it. Only you can live your purpose, whatever that might happen to be. So connect to your organic unfoldment, your unfurling process. And it's an inner-led one, and it requires honoring your sixth sense, honoring your inner knowing, honoring the inner compass that you have within you, honoring your intuition, honoring your knowing, your intuitive knowing. Okay, you have to hone that and cultivate it. If you don't know how, then go on a discovery process. There are many resources out there for how you could cultivate and dial up your intuition, and to, as I like to say, drive on your life's road with your high beam headlights on. Okay? So this takes me, it's number 7. It's linked to getting into your heart and soul, and it's linked to becoming inner led. Meditation. Number 7 on the path, the steps to finding and fulfilling your purpose, is to meditate. Okay? Meditate, meditate, meditate. Meditate every day. If there was one magic bullet we could offer humanity to change the face of the entire planet, there's really only one magic bullet available. Meditation. Meditate. Meditate. If you want to plug into your purpose, meditation would be the one most important thing you could do. You know, meditation is critical. It will increase your clarity. It will increase your intuition. It will increase your certitude. It will increase your confidence. It will increase it will increase your positive regard for your fellow human beings. It will increase your positivity. It will increase your well-being. It will lessen your anxiety. It will lessen your doubt. It will lessen your stress levels. It will lessen your dis-ease, your unhealth. It will do wonders. Meditation does wonders. So, when I practice a form of meditation called Vedic meditation. It's a twice a day form of meditation. Very, very simple. And it's a game changer. Mainly I'm sitting in meditation and it's affecting my life, right? That sitting every day transforms my life, the quality of my life, the quality of how it feels day to day, the quality of my relation to my everyday, right? But more so, it heightens the guidance I get. I get leads, I get guidance, I get hits, I get told things in meditation that I would never be told otherwise, because those inner whispers of the heart, the soul, and the intuition are very still and quiet. They're very quiet. You have to get still and listen. So you may not get that guidance in meditation. You may just get it later in the day. You may get it in a week or in a month. But I often get powerful guidance in my meditation. Just shocking revelations. Just a straight up hit. Just being told the answer straightforwardly in one sentence. Do this. Do that. Don't do this. Scrap that. Forget that. It's quite amazing. It's really like taking a Learjet rather than jogging. You definitely want to be meditating if you're committed to living your purpose and if you're committed to finding your purpose. The most important thing that I can say. Along with all of that, you want to cultivate, for instance, to be the kind of person who would meditate, so this is number 8, to cultivate a really intimate relationship with yourself. Okay, so you want to be the kind of person who would offer yourself the gift of meditation, like you're your own most amazing friend, right? The kind of friend who says, you know, my darling, you really need to meditate. It's going to change your life. It's going to ramp up your quality of life exponentially. You're going to be able to thrive. You're going to be able to serve meaningfully. You're going to be able to have more life in your life. You're going to be able to be more magnetic and vital and alive. Who doesn't want that? And be like the mother that you know, fantasized about all your life. You know, maybe your literal mom's great, but be that mom that we all have in our mind, the archetypal perfect mom. Be that for yourself. Whatever it is that you need, offer that to yourself. So first you got to get to know yourself, right? Self-discovery, get to know yourself. What do you need? What are you craving? What are your inner whispers asking you for? Connect to yourself, mind, body, heart, and soul. Relate to yourself, become close to yourself, become intimate with yourself. Again, love yourself, but let that be an active doing of love. Let's not let just be like an emotional or energetic embodiment. Let's let there be a doing there. Cultivate a relationship with yourself. Do for yourself, okay? That's required in order to fulfill your purpose. The next step, I've touched on it, is what I said about the diamond and the detox. The diamond and the detox, okay? We got to wash that diamond off. We not only got indoctrinated from our youth, so this is number 9, we not only got indoctrinated, but we got hurt, we got wounded. Now, this is an aside, I'm not going to go into it deeply, I'm not even going to go into it at all, but your wound is linked to your purpose. Your wound becomes a deep form of wisdom, and I mean wounds, wound/wound, and your pain becomes your purpose. So we're not trying to wash away the pain, but we want to shift and reorient your relationship to the challenges you've been through, the traumas you've been through, the strife that you've been through, no matter how intense it was, so that you can serve healthfully, so that you can infect people with your positivity and not inadvertently cause other people wounding or reaffirm their wounds, okay? So you have to get the diamond washed off, do a little detoxing. You have to heal. You have to set yourself free. You have to forgive the people who wronged you in your sense of it. You ideally even just accept, radical acceptance. Now acceptance again doesn't mean you say it's okay, but you accept that it's what is. You accept what is. You make your peace with it. You come to terms with it. Okay, this is what is, and it served me. You tap into how it served you. How did it serve me to undergo these experiences? How did it serve me to be in that place, going through those experiences, in that matrix, in that experience? How has it served me? How has it made me who I am? So we want to sort of release the pain, release the pain. And I don't mean shove it away and stuff it and repress it. I mean really go on a healing journey so that we can transform our pain into our purpose, so that we can serve masterfully with all of that stuff that we've accumulated all our lives, and all of us have to varying degrees. So put the past in the past, okay? And above all, let go of any guilt and shame that you might be carrying on your path, right? Put the baggage down. We all have baggage. We might be ignoring the fact we have baggage. We might feel like we're just okay, but we're just not. We're carrying baggage, whether we're aware of it or not. So I want you to be honest with yourself, brutally honest about baggage you might be carrying that you don't want to admit to because you kind of feel like you've gone through your healing journey and done your personal development. Because to plug into your purpose, you actually have to address these things. It's almost like the universe will not allow you to serve the way you're meant to, in the way that you're capable of, until you're at a certain level of healedness. So I encourage strongly a healing journey. You must heal actively. We place more obstacles in our own path than life ever could. We actually place blocks in our own path without realizing it, because literally we create our own reality. So the things that we're looking at, saying, oh, I can't fulfill my purpose because this or that. Oh, I need money, I have to work, so I can't you know, let's say it was me at Yale, I can't leave Yale to do this work because I, you know, gotta have financial security in order to be able to do it. Or, you know, whatever you might be thinking. You want to trust that you actually do have the resources available to you, and that those thoughts create the obstacles. The thoughts of lack and scarcity and not having what you need at your disposal are a part of how we get in our own way. You're not given a calling or a purpose without an active, direct means to fulfilling it. So you want to trust and have faith that no matter who you are, no matter what your station in life, no matter how much fortune and abundance you can see around you, you still have what you need. You have it within you, and you have the resources that you need around you in the form of other people, any number of resources. Sometimes we have to be a lot more creative about seeing things for what they are, seeing opportunities where we might not see opportunity, seeing things as abundance that might seem like scarcity, right? But you can live your purpose from wherever you are, no matter where you are. No matter where you are, no matter what your social location is, no matter how dire it looks, you can create anything from there. There's a saying about the quantum reality, the cosmos, this universe we live in, that it's as easy for the universe to create a button as a castle. And the same is true for you. You have the power to create a button or a castle readily from right where you are. What you need will come. If it's your purpose, if it's meant for you, right? Because the key is you have to be aligned with what's meant for you, right? The calling and the purpose is not like, I want to be an astronaut, right? If that's not what's meant for you. Or I want to be a star football player. Or I want to be a ballerina on the stage of the, you know, of the Met, the Lincoln Center. You know, that, in all likelihood, not your purpose. If it is, you can actualize it. But chances are it's not that. You have to connect to what's actually intended for you. There's, again, a self-creation and a self-discovery that go hand in hand. So, we don't so much solve our problems as we outgrow them, okay? So if you have obstacles in the way that make you feel like you can't activate, fulfill, live your purpose from here, then your job is to grow and expand, because this way you kind of shed the current set of headaches, the current set of nuisances. The other thing I want to remind people of is that when we focus on solving a big problem rather than our petty problems, it's a lot more powerful. It's just like the little problems kind of are always going to be there, and the growth is more about our relationship to those problems. Those problems become very dim, very small in the face of us having a much bigger container. So let's imagine we have a level 10 wherewithal and a level 3 problem. That's not anything we're going to lose sleep over. But if we have a level 3 wherewithal and a level 3 problem, that's going to like be all consuming, even though the problem's fairly small in the scheme of things, okay? Also, just the reorientation, the refocusing onto the big problems. What are you here to solve in this world? Like, let's say it's me with the race problem, then it's silly for me to get mired in the petty problems of my day-to-day. Oh, my kid's teacher said such and such, you know? I have 3 kids, and I can easily get mired in their day-to-day, or what a family member said or did, or what, you know, my financial situation, or any number of things. We can get bogged down in the micro. And then that will curtail our ability to perform at the macro level. So we want to be generative and creative and keep our focus on solving the big problems that we're here to solve. Because our purpose, you know, meaning our purpose, this calling, will solve a problem in the world. Who knows on what scale? I don't know what your purpose is, you will. But whatever scale it's on, you want to focus on that. And then the rest will kind of start more and more to take care of itself. You know, so get unmired in the petty problems, okay? So get out of your own way. In order to activate our purpose, find and fulfill our purpose, we want to get out of the cycle of reactivity and into the cycle of creativity. You want to honor yourself as the creator that you are. You are a great creator. You're here to create. Again, you can create something from nothing. We are literal wizards. Each one of us is a wizard. We totally underestimate our power. And why? Because we've been indoctrinated into limitation from the day we were born. So unlearn, unfurl. You're going to unfurl into a creator. Your purpose is going to be something creative, so you have to start living creatively so that you're a match for a purpose to reveal itself and for a purpose to be actualized and activated, so that you can fulfill your purpose, so that you can enact your purpose, so that you can, commit to and immerse yourself in living your purpose. So you've got to be a creator. You have to be willing to be a creator. Again, you get out of the cycle of reactivity. Our purpose is for something. Our purpose is going to be in the service of something. Our purpose is not going to be to go to battle against what's there. If we're going to battle against what's there, we're in our heads. That's why I feel plugging into our purpose could be revolutionary for this planet. Because it's not people's purpose to just fight against what is. Because fighting against what is has a place in terms of raising awareness, but it's not going to create anything new. To create something new, we have to be creative. You can't create something new from a place of reactivity. Okay, so be for something. Be for something. When it comes to your purpose, establish what you're for, right? So for me, I have a passion to heal race and racism. I have a passion to, catalyze a reorientation around those issues, and I am for people's freedom, and I am for people's empowerment, and I am for people's wholeness, and I am for a more nuanced, elegant, and sophisticated, and loving, and understanding, and compassionate, and empathic negotiating of one another's differences. I'm for things. Okay, I'm not against what is. I'm not against the way it is and how screwed up it is and oh my God. I'm for things, and that's generative, and that's creative, and there's possibility for change embedded in that. There's possibility for real transformation, getting out of the lockstep. Reactivity just creates lockstep, just creates a battle. It just contributes more negativity to the world. Now, is it useful unto itself? Yes, it is, because it's raising awareness about things that people should be aware of. But it's not transformative. It's not transformative. It's tactical. It's not strategic. Tactical will take us from A to B. Strategy will take us where we want to go. So in your purpose, you want to be sure you're being strategic. You're going for the long-term unfurling, unlearning, transformation. You're for transformation of some kind. You want to solve a problem, heal something, big or small, in the world around you or in the world at large. Number 12, and the final step in how to fulfill and find your purpose, is to have courage. You have to proceed in the face of fear. You're going to have fear. If you don't, you're not pursuing your purpose, because there's got to be fear there. It's got to feel charged. It's got to feel like there are stakes. You're going to feel fear, and your job is to manage your fear, to proceed with courage in the face of fear, to be brave. Now, we generally fear success just as much as failure. So most of us drive with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake to curtail both, right? We drive on one foot on the gas to prevent failure, but we drive with one foot on the brake to prevent success. So we want to be mindful of doing that and truly attempt to get out of our own way and just proceed with courage and humility. To proceed with humility. We have to be willing to do whatever it takes. We have to be willing to be phoenix rising from the ashes. We have to be willing to get our hands dirty, right? To get skin in the game, to have stakes in it. Again, to win or lose, right? Not all of us are going to have these huge victories, right? Some of us are going to fall flat on our face. Frankly, that can be the part of a big victory, right? We will have failure on our way to success. The courage is needed not just for the sure wins, but the courage is needed because you're going to win and you're going to lose. That's just how the game works. You want to proceed in the face of the failures. The failures will course correct you. The mishaps, the various areas where you get stopped are going to redirect you. It's all divinely sanctioned. It's all in divine order for you. The failures are good. You know, you do your best, you commit to doing your best, you commit to proceeding with courage, you be mindful, you really listen to those inner whispers, and you will most certainly meet with great victories, but also with great disappointments. That's just how it works. There will be some colossal failures, right? But let's just redefine failure as lessons, okay? Now, you also really, again, this goes back to everything I've said, your authenticity, your inner ledness. If you are being inner led, and if you are being authentic, if you are listening to your inner dictates, and if you are meditating, and if you are plugged into your heart and soul, and if you are serving courageously, if you are cultivating a relationship with yourself, all of the things that I've talked about, then you'll want to measure your evolution in the fulfillment of your purpose, not on terms of the ego and societal definitions of success, but in terms of your own true measure of success, and on the measures of the soul. The soul isn't interested in whether we fail or whether we succeed. The soul is interested in, did I grow? Did I evolve? Did I serve? Did I do my best? Did I follow my inner directives? So you want to measure your progress on those terms, not in terms of sort of, the cultural standards of success and achievement and glory. It's highly likely you'll have some of that. It's certainly highly likely that you will, certainly achieve some status and so on. If you're living and fulfilling your purpose, chances are you're going to have many victories as well. You just don't want to be measuring yourself in terms of social status, approval, achievement, awards. You want to be measuring yourself on the terms of the soul and the heart, okay? How plugged in you are. So those are my 12 steps. I wish you the most incredible good fortune. I wish you inspiration. I wish you transformation. I wish you a life of purpose and meaning and magic and fulfillment. And may we all work together to make this world a better place. Thank you so much. Bye.